Since God is omniscient, he knew who would worship him and who would not even before he created anybody. But if God knows who will reject him before he even creates them, why does he bother to create them in the first place?
And what I suggest there is two things. Number one, it may not be feasible for God to create a world in which everyone freely embraces salvation and comes to him. It's logically impossible to make people do something freely.
How about this? If God knows ahead of time who will freely accept him and who will freely reject him, why wouldn't he simply abstain from creating those who would freely reject him? That way, he creates a world without heathens, and he does so without taking away anyone's free will.
The other thing is that it may be that if there are worlds of universal salvation, that they have overriding deficiencies that make them less preferable. And one that I thought of, for example, would be maybe they've only got 2 or 3 people in them.
Why would a world with only pious people have only 2 or 3 people in it? Do you really believe that only 2 or 3 people are getting into heaven? If that's the case, is it really worth it to create a world full of 7 billion people, most of whom are going to hell, just to create 2 or 3 people who would go to heaven? What overriding deficiency could possibly justify creating people who, through their free choices, would end up having to endure an eternity in hell? It may be their free choice to reject God, but it wasn't their free choice to be created in the first place. If God knows, infallibly, that certain people will make free choices that result in their eternal misery, why wouldn't it be better to simply not create them?